This episode of From Tops to Bottoms contains talk of eating disorders and trauma. If you have been affected by anything in today's podcast episode, please reach out to any of the charities that will be linked in our episode description. Just remember, you're not alone.
Hello guys, gals and non-binary pals. Welcome to another episode of From Tops to Bottoms Aftercare. My name is Cassie.
My name is Sam.
And today we are reflecting on our last episode, which was all about the new government guidelines for eating and Sam's eating disorder story. But before we get into that, Sam, how are you feeling today?
I'll be honest with you, Cassie. I don't feel fabulous. I do not feel my regular wonderful self. I have a sore throat and a cough, which in this global pandemic is not exactly the best. I think my sore throat is from smoking shisha and shouting at children at school, not just in the street.
Wow. What a mood.
I think that that's why, but I also don't feel too good. So yeah, that's me. How are you?
Sorry, I just can't get over it. It's from smoking shisha and shouting at children. Like, I don't think your doctor would take too kindly to that, to be honest, mate.
Well, do you know what? I don't take too kindly to children trying to bite me in class, but, you know, life's a bitch, innit?
Oh, fucking hell. Yeah, do you know what? I'm feeling pretty rough today too, but mine's just like mentally drained. Which I'm sure I'll get over. I'm a big girl. I slept for like 12 hours last night, which is just ludicrous.
What's that like?
Actually, I don't think it was 12 hours. I think it would be around... Oh, no, that's a lie. I've just told a lie on air. About 9 hours. I forgot I went to bed very late, but I also got up very late. So it wasn't that much of a long sleep. It's just a slobby sleep.
Fucking hell.
I am a slob, what can I say? Okay, back to what we're here for. Emotional chats. How did you feel last week posting that episode?
I know, like I've said in the past, like I was very nervous to put the masturbation episode up, but I felt physically ill at the thought of putting this up. And obviously I phoned you a whole bunch of times like, oh, I'm just editing this back and it's taken quite a while and I hate it. And when I uploaded it to Anchor, I was like, Cassie, I really don't want to put this out. And then when it went out, you were like, I said to you, I was like, Cassie, what if people don't care? What if this episode tanks? What if no one's asked? And then we didn't have too much feedback within the first 24 hours. And I was like, oh, fuck. And it just felt like, I don't know. It just felt like I felt a little bit upset, but I was prematurely upset because I went back to sleep for about an hour and then woke up to a message like, hey, I really loved this episode and I loved what you've done. And like since that point, I've had an outpouring of love and support from people I've known from the past, family members, people I don't even particularly know who said they're in their own stages of recovery at the minute, or they recognise some of the behaviours that I mentioned in themselves, and it's kind of prompted them to consider seeking help, which is great. And that is the best kind of feedback I could have gotten, is that it's helped somebody else. So that's great.
Yeah. I think you forget that, like, you're in China. So,
literally,
like, when you wake up, everyone's asleep here. So not many people have listened. So, like, when you're on edge about an episode, like, it's barely been up. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, like, we've had we always get so many messages, which we listen and respond to every single one. But this one, they've all been so lovely, and like there's been so many, which I knew there would be, because when I listened to the episode, I was in it, and even I was like, oh, I want to tell her how great she's doing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was there. Yeah. And I still felt that, so I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah, well, I cried editing the episode, I cried while I was filming the episode, I cried when the episode went up, so I'm doing okay now.
I was worried because you were editing it, and I was like, do you want to edit or should I? Because I feel like in this sort of thing you'd want like creative control. You're like, I'm gonna try and edit it, and I was like, okay.
Yeah. But yeah, and when I went through, I mean, One thing I did on purpose was I didn't mention any behaviors in particular, which I know a lot of people are generally kind of interested in I don't want to say like a kind of morbid way, but in that kind of curiosity. And I didn't mention it on purpose because I knew the episode would potentially be quite triggering for a lot of people anyway. But I didn't want to focus on the behaviors. I wanted to focus on my thoughts and feelings and my processes while I was seeking help, rather than actual actions that were being taken the whole time.
Yeah, I think that was the smart thing to do, because as much as that's interesting for people that aren't going through it, for people that are going through it, it can be quite harmful. So I think that was a smart idea. And, you know, it's not something you can't Google, guys. Okay, so we're going to, as always, go through responses on Instagram. Okay, so the first one is, I know a few people who over the years have struggled with eating disorders, and I feel like when they presented them to me, I didn't know what to say or how to help them deal with it. But after listening to you both, it was so educating on what the individual with eating disorder feels like and how to help only if there was something like this around at the time. Love what you two are doing. That's so nice, because a lot of the time you think about how people with eating disorders are going to feel about the episode, but like she's saying, she didn't know how to deal with it as a friend. So that's quite nice that that's helped. I really like that, actually.
Yeah, I like as well. I had a lot of friends reach out and they said that they were really sorry they didn't know how to recognise the signs, and they were sorry that they felt that I felt like I couldn't confide in them. And it was very much not about that. It's I didn't know how to cope at the time, and your friends that are probably going through this, if you're trying to support someone going through this, chances are they might not know what they need. So I think the best kind of route of action is to just let them know that you are there for them. Make it as clear as you possibly can that this is a safe space, free of judgment, and that they can talk to you. Because if they feel like they can't talk to people, that's when things get a little bit dangerous.
I agree. The second was happy to hear a similar story to my own. I don't have any true friends, but it felt like I did with this. That made me want to cry. Like, genuinely, that made me so
literally
emotional.
Exactly the same, mate. Like, fucking hell.
Like, that makes me cry, like, right now. That's so sad.
Yeah, I literally don't even know what to say to that other than thank you and we love you.
Yeah, and if you feel like you don't have any true friends, especially when it comes to this topic, like, message Sam. Like, I too am also here. But obviously Sam knows a lot more about this.
My VPN is sometimes garbage because we all know that I'm in China, but when it does work, I'm there, bro.
So obviously the question I asked was, has anyone got any thoughts or feelings or questions? And someone said, reassuring, ? That others face these issues, but also infuriating that the government doesn't help. Body image and food relationships form at such a young age. The government must improve. Also, Sam is amazing for sharing her story. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much for your amazing feedback. And I'm really sorry that you went through something similar to me. And I absolutely agree. The government has to change. And I don't know if you saw it as well, Cassie, in the same kind of vein. I imagine you did. The tweet from Jeremy Vine that went round.
Yeah.
Everyone was quote tweeting, suggesting that when kids go back to school, they should be weighed and help to lose the pounds they've put on in lockdown.
Yeah, it was actually the National Obesity Forum that suggested it, but it went viral from Jeremy Vine. Yeah, which even the name, the National Obesity Forum, what the fuck is that? Honestly, BMI has been proven to be wrong anyway, and I know a lot of people who listen to this are going to be like, that is ridiculous bullshit, but like, I know it sounds like such a radical thing, but read into it. BMI is not as what's the word?
Accurate.
There she is. Accurate as we've been led to believe.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's so awful. We I don't know what we were weighed for in school, but I remember we were weighed and I hated it. I hated it. And I guarantee that a lot of my body image issues stemmed from being weighed in school. Queuing up, having a nurse weigh you and do your height. And then she'd say some little things to you, and you might get a letter home. Ugh, I hated that.
Did you get letters home?
Yeah.
Oh. Like saying what?
So you get like, So it would have like your height and your weight on it. And they would never like lose weight, but it would be like some copy and pasted paragraph on health eating and what to do next, depending on what weight you were. I'm pretty sure that was it. Like when you got nits and they'd send a letter home, similar.
Oh, fucking hell, man!
Which is just awful.
Like I don't remember getting weighed in school. I may very well have done. It's likely I will have done, but it's also likely I've blocked that out of my memory.
Yeah, I hated it. We used to go to the other side of the school, and it was like a school, part of the school we never went to, and like I was like, oh, dead excited, and you'd only go to that side of the school when you were like of that age, so like the year 5, 6 corridors.
Okay.
And then, so it was like kind of exciting, but also scary. So if you went there when you were doing something fun, it was like, woo, exciting. But when you were about to get weighed, it was like, oh my God, where am I going? Like, what am I doing? And it'd be so embarrassing. And they'd all, like, in the queue, there'd be talks about who's going to be fat and who's not. It's like, oh my God, I was fat before I walked in the room. Fuck off.
It just breeds that toxic opinion from such a young age. Like, as you've just said, like, people in the queue are like, oh, who's going to be fat? Who's going to be this? It's like, just let kids be kids, man.
Literally. And I know that the point is to have like a healthier society. Well, but that's what they want us to think. It's to have a healthier society. But is it? Because if yes, these people may be thin or what you deem healthy when they grow up, but they're not going to be healthy in terms of mentally. They're gonna. Some may have eating disorders. Some may suffer from disordered eating. Like, yes, we all may be thin at one point, but we're all going to be fucking trapped in our own minds and scared to do absolutely anything. Yeah. Like, so, and at that point, I'd rather be fat.
Yeah. You're all going to be paying for our therapy in our 20s, bro.
Exactly. Well, you're thinking that, like, being... That's such a shout, to be fair, though. Like, you think that pushing, like, healthy eating on kids and stuff when they're younger, which... I'm not saying it's a bad thing. Like, I'm really not saying that's a bad thing, but the way it's done is bad. You think that that's going to be saving money in the future in terms of, like, weight loss surgery and shit like that. But actually, you're now putting pressure on another part of the NHS, like the mental health side and eating disorder side of it.
Yep.
Like, you're saving money in one part, but then now we need a lot more. In terms of other portions of the NHS, like, you're saving money in terms of, like, weight, but you save money in terms of, like, healthy lifestyle, but you're not saving money in terms of, like, mental health and people later on in life when they're going to need therapy, counselling and CBT and stuff like that.
And the mental health services are always the first to get the cuts, so...
Also, give us a fucking break. We've just come out of lockdown and you're like, oh, 50% off all food, but also the kids are going to be weighed. Shut up.
Oh, yeah, I forgot they were doing that, the eat out to help out thing. Like, do you want us to eat or do you want us to not eat? Like, do you want us to what do you expect from people? Like, fuck off. Literally, like, mixed messages or what? Like, shut the fuck up. And that came out literally like this, like, 2 weeks maybe. In the same 2 weeks, the new government guidelines came out and then the 50% off, and I've been for a meal in that time and it's cheap as chips, my guy. Like, fucking hell, people with big families are going to go and do that. But we've been in lockdown. Give people a break. And I say give people a break like you're allowed to do something naughty. It's just eating. Shut up. Yeah. Know what I mean? I saw someone tweet the other day that a 20 box of chicken nuggets was like £2.39. And I was like, bro, if there's anything that makes me go back to England, it's a fucking 20 box of McNuggets for £2. Yeah, I might go Mackey's after this, you know. Next one was something I never knew you were fully dealing with, Sam. I'm so proud of you for how far you've come, and I'm so proud to call you my sister. Am I allowed to say that? Yeah, I guess, yeah. Yeah, I mean, the general consensus I've kind of had from my family is that none of them really knew what I was going through, which is my own fault, obviously, because I didn't talk to anyone about it, but I didn't want to. I didn't know how to. It's something I'm a bit more comfortable with now, and I'm dealing with now. But yeah, thank you.
The other one was, the last one was, it was powerful and Sam should be so proud of what she'd achieved. Sam should be so proud of what she'd achieved, even just talking about it. Like, wow.
Thank you. I always feel so awkward saying thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know, like, I don't really know what to say other than, like, I really appreciate the fact that everyone's kind of said, like, how difficult it must have been. Because I thought I was overreacting. I thought I was making such a big fucking deal about it. And you were like, no, like, you've literally not talked in detail about this to anyone other than your therapist. So now for me to put it out to the whole world, it is a big deal. So yeah, thank you.
Don't downplay it, my guy. We've also had a lot of other messages that we won't read because a lot of them are like personal.
Yeah, a lot of the messages we did have were very personal and had a lot of identifiers in them. So, like, I don't want to, like, expose anyone. Because I was promised I wouldn't, so.
But yeah, again, we are always so grateful for any message that you send, even if it's a fucking thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up, little love heart emoji. Love a good love heart emoji.
You're like, fuck a thumbs up on my heart.
I need that love and support, bro.
I listened to the episode back twice, and there was a part where Sam was saying that in China a child would say, "You're big," or something like that to her, and she would be like, she's used to it now, so she'd just be like, When I was there, it happened to me, I'd say once, maybe twice at a push, that a child would say that, and it would ruin me. Like, I'd be like mentally gone for days. I'm hearing you be like, and then I'd just be like, oh, I just want to continue the class. I was like, how? Like, how do you do that? If it's like, I don't know how frequently that happens, sorry, but I just don't know how you deal with that. And I obviously spoke briefly last time about adults in China saying things and the stares and stuff.
Yeah.
But like, how the fuck do you cope with that?
Well, as you know, obviously it's a massive culture difference from the UK, being in China. But I think with children, I'm more prepared to accept it from children, and I kind of get over it more from children, because I think a lot of these Chinese children, I'm the only foreigner they know, and I look a lot different. I have a different body type to a lot of the people that they know. And I think part of it as well is a child's natural curiosity. 9 times out of 10, when it comes from a child, it's not malicious. When it comes from an adult, it's malicious. And that's what I don't like, is the intention behind it. If a kid wants to ask me why I'm so fat, they'll be like, yeah, bro, I like bread and I like cake. And normally they're just like, maybe you eat too much cake. And I'm like, yeah, I definitely do, my guy, but also can we just carry on with this, please? But like, normally adults are like, oh, you are so beautiful. If only you lost more weight, you'd be more beautiful. And that's what I don't like. See,
I think that's the difference between me and you. Like, and maybe I've got some deep issues here, but it's just the fact that it even being mentioned, and like, I've just briefly unpacked it for a tiny second in my head then, so this is probably not going to be a very coherent sentence. Oh, sorry, my microphone just fell. I shall continue. Probably not going to be a very coherent sentence, but it's almost like in my head, it's a secret. Like, no one must know I'm fat. Like, I must dress to be thin. I must to look thin. Like, no one must know. In my pictures, I must look thin. Like, I have to be at this angle or blah, blah, blah. So maybe, like, mine's just like, because it's not a secret. Hello, people see me all the fucking time. Like,
yeah, people have eyes, my guy. People can see me.
So maybe it's just in my head. So then when someone like says something, I'm like, oh shit, you know I'm fat. And it's not as blunt as like, oh my God, they know I'm fat. But it's like, oh, you've noticed like and acknowledged that I'm fat. And that to me is more than like the someone saying it like to be a cunt. Like,
yeah.
If someone was like, fat bitch in the street, I'd be like, love it. I'd probably like shout back or like just be a cunt back to them. But more than a mate being like, a mate saying something to me or like an adult I know, I'd be a lot more upset. So yeah, that's a very strange difference between us.
Yeah, like one of my big things as well was when I started dating again, I was like, oh my God, what if they notice that I'm fat when we have sex? But also, they've noticed I'm fat before we have sex, and surprise, they still want to have sex with me, so don't worry about it, guy.
I remember this conversation. You were like, I just keep worrying, like, what if, like, when they see my body, they're like, oh my God, she's fat, and I was like, Sam, and you're like, but then also they've been on a date with me already, so they know, and I was like, I'm just gonna let you talk because it's just your mind's just working
it
through
already,
this.
mate.
Oh, fucking hell.
But I think that is quite an interesting difference of opinion.
Yeah.
As well.
Maybe you've like spoken about yours like with a therapist more than I have for me to, so I'm still like,
True.
no, I'm not fat.
Yeah.
When I know I am.
Yeah.
One thing that the episode did to me was like, I was obviously thinking about weight for a few days, and I had a couple of like insecure days. Like I went out with some mates and they wanted to like take some pictures on like their disposable cameras, which I normally love because I've got my own disposable camera, and I would have joined in too, but I was like, I feel like shit today, like I don't want to do this. Like I hated it, and I'm dreading those pictures coming back, but it's because the girls I was with are both stunning and like they're just stunningly gorgeous, and I felt shit that day.
But so are you, mate.
But then thank you so much. I don't think so, but...
Sorry, am I talking to Samantha Brett here? You and your fucking... Thank you very much.
Well, if you want to believe that bullshit, then that's okay. But anyway, and like the other end of it was like, it's very hot in England right now, very hot. And I have been giving a shit less about showing my body. So like, even before the heat, like I bought some like cycling shorts that I wear a lot now because they're comfortable, and I don't know, I like them on me. But normally I'd be like, I don't like my legs. I don't like my knees specifically. And then lately, I really want like a muscle tee, you know, like they're not vests, but they come like just to the edge of your shoulders. And she's laughing because she knows what I'm going to say, but this is a big thing for me.
No, I'm laughing because it's the dykiest I've ever seen you look.
That is why I love it so much. And I really wanted one, and I felt like it really like fit my style, but also I hate my arms. Like there's anything I hate on my body the most, it's my arms. Like my mum hates hair arms, and I feel like I've just like internalized that from hair. Like I've just like all the way through childhood like sucked that in, and now I hate my arms. Like when my arms are flat, they look massive, they're sort of pale. They're not as pale now because sun, but and then I went shopping and I seen like the perfect one, and I was like, oh, do I want to get it? It's like, it's gonna waste my money if I don't ever wear it. Am I just gonna wear it around the house? And if I wear it around the house, I'm still gonna feel shit about myself. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear it. And I wore it with cycling shorts, and like that's a whole lot of flab to be showing off,
lot of
my guy.
Body issues going on at once.
Yeah, and I was like, should I do this? Should I not? And Beth was like, yeah, looks great. Like, I think you look sick. But she's going to say that I look sick in anything, to be honest. So I was like, okay, but do I?
Go off.
But do I? But do I?
Yes.
And I was like, I'm also going to a pub with like a bunch of white men who don't really give a shit about anyone else's feelings, to be honest. So I knew there'd be some comments, and there were. But anyway, I bit the bullet and I went. And honestly, like, I wasn't even insecure. I was like, this is a whole new level of confidence for me, and I was just not expecting it. I was just not like that was the last thing I was expecting. I was thinking, okay, you've done it now, you don't need to do it again. But instead, 2 other t-shirts I bought that day that I planned to cut up into muscle tees, I went home and was like, snip, 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 and I'm wearing one right now, which is too big, but
yes, we love to see it.
But honestly, like, I was so proud of myself, and I was like, literally, who cares about my arms? And if you care about my arms, like, that's your problem.
That's a you problem.
Like that,
yeah, literally.
That's really not up to me.
I remember when you FaceTimed me and you were working, and you were like, hey, guess what? And you like ran to the bathroom, and you're like, I'm working through my body issues. And I was like, yes, we love to see it. We love to see it. We really do. But yeah,
I had a little cry, to be honest.
It's fucking hard work.
I had like a little bit of a release cry at one point, because I was like, oh, and Beth like, should we get, I think it was me that was like, should we get a picture actually? And then like, I was like, I'm going to hate them. you've been on such a high, and then you're gonna hate the pictures. And I don't. I really like the pictures. I think the sound. But then like the next day, I was like, and I had a little cry. Like, my arms aren't even that bad, and they're not. Like, what am I looking?
No,
What's supposed to be bad? Like, hello. And I'm planning on, like, I'm designing my sleeve now. The fuck am I going to spend all this money on a sleeve for, and then just be like, oh, put a blazer on?
Yeah. What are you getting on your sleeve?
I think I'm getting like a 70s sort of style sleeve with like Debbie Harry, Lady Gaga. I'm going to get some like feminist shit and some gay shit around it. But yeah, it's going to be like a lot of like
oranges.
oranges.
A tattoo that says gay shit.
Yeah. It's going to be like a lot of oranges and browns and like just a lot of 70s vibes with like two fierce, delicious women on.
Sick. That sounds really nice.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm very proud of you also, because I know how hard it is to work through body issues. I'm still going through mine, but yeah, I know it's very hard. But like you said as well,
baby steps, we love them.
Absolutely. I also found filming the episode quite triggering.
Yeah.
I struggled for a couple of days after filming it. I don't really know how I want to elaborate on that, but yeah, I really did struggle.
I think it was necessary to feel shit afterwards. Like, I knew we were both going to feel shit. Like, I knew especially you were going to feel shit. But I feel like it was positive. We both clearly took some positive things from it. You can now talk out loud about it more so than you could before.
Yeah.
I can now identify some things that were going wrong with me and can work on them. Other people have took good things from the podcast episode, so I think that tiny amount of feeling shit or emotional was totally worth it, and I am proud of you. I'm proud of us, baby.
Thank you. Yeah, we're boss. Absolutely.
Viva la tops to bottoms.
I thought you were going to say Viva la vagine, and I was like, yes, bitch.
Not relevant, but we'll go with it.
So once again, I do just want to say thank you so much for all of the love and support, more than ever, because it means so much to me, particularly with this episode, as I'm sure you all know. Just because we're not going to be talking about this next week doesn't mean you can't message us at any point. As we've said, we'll always hold space for this. Yeah,
definitely. Like, even in like 3 months' time when we're talking about spanking or queer sex or doggy, we are still going to have our messages open to eating disorder related topics.
Yeah. Anything. Yeah. So don't be afraid to message us at any point. If you do want to contact us at any point, you can reach us on our Instagram, which is @FromTopsToBottoms. My personal Instagram is @SamanthaandBJ, which is exactly the same for my Twitter.
My Instagram is @radicallove.co.uk, and that's the same for my website. And my Twitter is CassRattray, and I think that's all my life I've just shared. What else do I have, Sam?
We have an email address as well, if you want to email us.
Oh, yeah. That's Sam's line.
Do you remember what it is?
Old school.
Do you want to remember what it is? Because I don't.
It's hello, tops to bottoms, @gmail.com. Yes, that's it. I'm the top of this podcast. I know that.
Oh, that reminds me, and this is what I want to leave with. I was at work today, and I showed someone one of your pictures on Instagram because she listens to the podcast, and she'll probably listen to this one and be so annoyed that I told you. I showed her a picture of you in the little lingerie suit with the blazer, and she was like, she looks like a professional dominatrix. And I was like, yeah, she is a top.
That's my dream job, you know. I've been watching Pose lately, and I was like, I think I might do that for like 3 months of my life, just be a professional dom. Ugh, love that. Tell her I love her. Thank you so much. And if you want to be topped by me, then email me at cassrattray@gmail.co.uk.
gmail.co.uk. For fuck's sake. And on that note, we'll see you next week.
Bye.